Amon-Ra St. Brown first overall. How are you feeling about that?
I mean, I think it's always, when you're talking about the first round, I think it's always a go out and get your guy.
Come on.
Let's go. Oh, man, my heart was beating on that one.
I can just tell you, when we get down to the actual numbers and projections, that team is going to score a lot. There's a lot of fantasy goodness.
There's 50 feet of shit and then Kyler and everything.
So forget that. I don't want to draft guys on bad teams.
Doesn't matter. They're going to figure out a way to get the ball. Good offensive coordinator. Arthur Smith is not a good offensive coordinator.
You guys are team 3 and 4. There's no point to take Stroud, right? Is there a point to take Stroud in a best ball format?
Get it.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Aidan Liquorie. Joining me, as always, for live draft coverage, Dave Terpoilli, who's actually on the clock right now.
They did it to me. We talked about this in the early show, what I was going to do, and they're giving me the option. And I'm a little tweaked right now. I mean, I'm against the Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, I made a statement to say Devon Achane over Jahmyr Gibbs, but my exposure to Jahmyr Gibbs is low, and I want to add some. But let's start some fireworks.
Terp takes Devon Achane at 5. If you haven't realized, tonight we are covering the FFPC Best Ball Tournament and the $125 entry, $300,000 grand prize to first place, and $100,000 grand prize to second. Terp is drafting out of the 5 spot and joining us for the first time. Let me get all of his titles up here. He is the FFPC Dynasty Commissioner, a customer service coordinator for the FFPC, and he is the FFPC Live Events Assistant Manager, Jake Venuti. Jake, welcome on to live draft coverage.
What's going on, everyone? I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see Terp take Achane over Gibbs. I do like that. No matter what. Not every time, but sometimes.
You got to mix it up.
So, Terp, let's go. So you're out of the 5 spot. We had talked about kind of today. You had said, I'm leaning maybe Gibbs if the opportunity presents itself. And I texted back. I said, what about your whole Gibbs Achane over Gibbs take? To which you replied, with the amount of drafts you do, Gibbs more of it's an exposure thing, but you go for the fireworks. You go with your gut feeling. Devon Achane at 5. Is there just maybe a hope to fill in some Gibbs down the line, and that was a live stream pick? You're going with your take.
I like fireworks, so live stream. August drafting season has pretty much begun. I made this statement a long time ago, and I'm going to stay with it. I was going to take Gibbs at the last minute, but I stayed with my brand and Devon Achane, who I think could finish as the running back 1 this year. I'm very, very extremely high on him. And that offense, I feel like a lot of people are down on. I'm not one of them. So, if you were asking me in a normal draft, would I do this? Yes, probably still. A main event, I'm still taking Achane. He's still my guy. I would take him over Gibbs. And I'm not a Gibbs hater because I know everybody loves Gibbs. There's not anybody in the world that is against Gibbs. And that's okay because everything is showing you that he's going to be great. But I'm going to just get a little crazy. So Achane is my pick, and we'll see how the rest of the draft falls out. Jake, he was never coming back to me, so it's not like fair. It's not
Go
that crazy. We've seen picks on here where people get real crazy. Achane's never coming back to me, so let's start this draft with a little fireworks.
Jake, you agreed with Terp with the pick there. Let's say you're on the clock out of the 5 spot and you're in Terp's shoes. Are you taking Achane over Gibbs in a FFPC Best Ball Tournament draft?
Well, like Terp said, it's about exposure. I mean, if I was doing one draft, I'm taking Gibbs, but he's been picking early a lot, and I don't hate the Achane pick. I mean, Miami's defense is going to be horrible. The offense really kind of matters. If Tua's playing, they're going to be good. And Achane had 78 catches, 80 catches last year. Who's to say he's not? If he plays 17 games, who's to say he couldn't catch 90 to 100 balls? Especially with that offense wanting to get the ball out as quick as possible.
Yeah, and especially also when we're factoring in, right, Jalen Waddle hasn't shown any ability to stay healthy. Tyreek Hill's getting up there, and there's uncertainty with, his health as he gets, years and mileage on him. Terp, I do got to ask, at any thought, any nerves pop up? And normally the answer is no, but this draft we specifically marketed as draft against Terp. In the past, sometimes we've kind of done it where it's just you happen to hop on and we kind of discuss it. This draft was specifically marketed as come draft against Terp. It literally filled up, 2 weeks in advance, a week and a half in advance?
We did it last. I think we put it out there the last show we did, and it filled in 24 hours. So
yeah,
people were really trying to chomp at the bit. We got a bunch of 26ers in here. I still, to this day, have no idea who the 26ers are. I have no idea what it means, and that's okay.
Jake, do you know what the 26ers are?
Yeah, I think it's a dynasty thing. There's like a couple. There's like, it's definitely a dynasty thing. I'm pretty sure, because there's some leagues that it'll be like just all 26ers, 36ers. It's definitely has to do with dynasty. But Terp, another thing with the Achane pick is that whoever you get in the second round, in the couple picks, you're probably not going to see that on many teams.
There we
You know what I'm saying? So it's like whoever you take, you're not going to see that often.
Jake, let me ask you a question.
It's a rare occasion when you're going to see Achane's pretty much going at that 11, 12, second round,
at the
second round range. You're going to be paired with a lot of guys. So am I being different? I don't think it's crazy. I know a lot of people are probably going to look at this tomorrow and be like, that idiot took him over Gibbs and Barkley and McCaffrey and Genty and Bowers and all those guys. Yeah, okay. You're right. But it's not like Achane has any chance to ever come back to me. If I was picking like, let's just say 8 or 9, maybe there's a chance he comes back, but he's never coming back. So
yeah, I think we've seen him at times dropped like the 204, 205, but unlikely. Jake, I wanted to ask you real quick. A Terp pick is coming up, so I'm going to let him focus there. Jake, I wanted to ask you, obviously the news out of LA isn't great. The Rams are expecting Matthew Stafford to be available for week 1. I mean, Puka Nacua, for the longest time we saw him in the back end of the first round. You're kind of starting to see that slippage in his ADP as a byproduct of, assumably the Matthew Stafford back injury and the uncertainty there. Where are you taking Puka? Where are you comfortable taking Puka with the Matthew Stafford news? And then when you're done answering that, as Terp takes George Kittle, we'll go back there. But first, Jake, real quick, just kind of give me your thoughts on Puka and then Matthew Stafford. That was kind of one of the bigger news dumps from today.
I mean, I wouldn't drop him too much. I would definitely – I would take Nico, I would take Thomas, I would take Neighbors over him, but I would still take Puka over London and St. Brown. I'm worried about Stafford, but I'm not that worried because he's been battling injuries his whole career, and he doesn't necessarily need to play in the preseason to produce. Mm-hmm. So, I'd be more worried about Adams because, think about it, Stafford, has he even thrown any balls to Adams? It's just been Garoppolo. Mm-hmm. The connection's already there with Puka, but where's the connection with Adams?
Yeah. Terp, let's get to Terp pick, and then Jake, I do want to come back to the Rams discussion because that's a good point. But Terp, you take George Kittle, third tight end off the board. His draft stock has been creeping up throughout the season. You're seeing pretty comfortably kind of that late end second round now. So you start Achane and Kittle, unique build for sure. Talk me through the Kittle pick.
Jake said it perfectly. It's a unique build. Most people will never have. I don't even think the people who drafted early will have any Achane Kittle. So it'll be a good start. It's different from everybody else. It really came down to just an exposure thing for me right here. I would probably, one team take Chase Brown, one team probably take Vlad McConkey. I don't have much Kittle. I always felt like I was a little short on him when it came to where I'm being picked. Like I said, I was picking a lot in the 2, 3, 4 range, and I felt like he just went like one pick ahead of me, and I was getting a lot of A.J. Brown, which I'm perfectly okay with. But I was hoping that A.J. Brown went ahead of me, so I didn't have to make that choice because we all know I'm a beloved Eagles fan, and I love me some A.J. Brown. He's my favorite player in the league, so I'll draft him as much as I can. But I'm glad he got taken before me because I probably would have took him again.
But yeah, Team 6, show me your TDs. Takes to A.J. Brown right before.
Show me. Team 6 is a guy that I've drafted against a ton. He's extremely good at this. He's not somebody I ever want to see right next to me.
He's having the draft that very well could have been yours if a couple things go different. The Gibbs A.J. Brown.
I could have probably had that draft if I wanted to, but let's like I said, let's have
happens.
some fun. We're not going to do anything crazy tonight, but
well, as he says, as he takes Devon Achane and George Kittle to start. Jake, can you finish your thought on kind of the Rams? I know you had a little more there, and I do think it's a fascinating subplot. Just for reference, last 2 days in this format, Puka's ADP, the 112, the farthest he's dropped is the 205. So this is on the lower end of where he's been going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about Puka. I think Stafford's going to play week 1. I think he's going to be available. Mm-hmm. If he wasn't, it's not like the backup is someone like it's Jimmy Garoppolo.
So Jake, let me say this: Jimmy Garoppolo is the Week 1 starter. We know this. Where do you think Puka goes in FFPC drafts?
I would probably put him towards the end of the 2-3 turn.
Okay.
Because you're drafting Puka with Stafford. Puka with Stafford is going to get 10 plus targets a game, and I feel like with Garoppolo they could run the ball a little bit more, but at the same time, it's just you can't let him fall too far though, because if he misses one game,
for sure,
you're getting a steal over there.
Yeah, we got some people in chat saying after Ladd. I do agree with that 2-3 turn because there's got to be some belief in McVay to keep the offense afloat. But back to Terp's draft. Terp, this is one shocking for any viewer because you come watch a Terp live stream, you're seeing receivers go off the board early. You haven't drafted a receiver yet. Marion Hampton, running back 13. Where? So I'm just going to
this range right here. This range here is a really flat range to me. It's not a range that's really exciting. It was exciting a little bit earlier in the drafting period, but right now it's a little bit flat. When I say that, I mean there's a lot of guys. I have a ton of Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. He would probably be my pick if I didn't own Achane. I'm not a big wide receiver and running back from the same team guy. It's just not something I like doing, especially if I'm trying to win a ton of money. It's possible, but it's a less likelier proposition than I like. Then you have Garrett Wilson, another guy who I have a ton of. Normal circumstances, one team, I'm probably taking one of those two guys. But I really wanted Josh Jacobs because I don't have much of him. I feel like he's a guy.
That was my question. Did you want Josh Jacobs to fall to you there?
Josh Jacobs was a guy that I was preferred. I would have taken Kyron Williams too, just to get totally off brand and get crazy. Because I'm a known Kyron Williams hater, but he did just sign a nice deal. So that's definitely something to warrant. But Amari Hampton, it's hard not to get caught up in the hype. I mean, I'm surprised he's not going higher. I've seen him go higher. We've seen him go in the mid-second round in some of these drafts so far. So to me, Najee Harris, I haven't heard a word of positive about him, and we're August 6th right now. We're less than a month away from the start of the season. So no receivers so far. Don't worry. We're gonna get plenty of those coming up. But I feel like this range right here, hey, in some leagues I probably would take Lamar or Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels, but I just don't take quarterbacks early this year. I'm not going to sit here and say I won't do it, in some exposures, but it's a range where it's a little bit ugly, where I'm going to shoot for a little bit of upside with Hampton and shoot for the moon.
Jake, do you think people are overreacting to Omarion Hampton's 2 carries in the Hall of Fame game? There was some genuine negativity there about how he looked and not getting into the end zone when he probably should have if he just aims for that corner. Is there anything there to be concerned, or are you buying even the slightest of dips of people being like, oh, he didn't look great in the preseason?
No, I'm not listening to that. He's going to be a stud. They drafted him for a reason. I mean, but to get back to that Chargers offense, what are they doing? Because they claim to be run first, but they draft Trey Harris, they have Ladd, and they just signed Keenan Allen. So you kind of wonder, do they want to throw the ball more? They signed Tyler Conklin. I'm pretty sure they drafted a tight end as well.
I think I don't think it hurts to have. I think they're going to be, if you're asking my genuine opinion, I think they are going to be a run first team. That's not going to change. They're going to use Hampton and Harris both. But I think as they you can never have too many pass catchers. I mean, you're signing Keenan Allen, but this isn't the Keenan Allen of old. You have your kind of go-to guy, wide receiver 1 in Ladd. Then again, Ladd also isn't a guy who's shown great health over his career, even dating back to specifically focusing on his time at Georgia. Quentin Johnson's unreliable. And sure, they're drafting Trey Harris, but again, if you're hoping that Harris and McConkey are your guys, with Allen providing some late flashes, and then they did draft Rondé Gadsden, but that's a later round lottery ticket. So it's not as much of what are they doing for me. I agree with you. I think people are overreacting to the 2 carries that he had, but certainly an interesting offense to monitor. I'm intrigued to see kind of where those pass catchers, the behind Ladd, shape up in this draft. But Jake, let me ask you real quick. Team 11, 2 running backs and 2 tight ends to start. Definitely a unique build there. Your thoughts on Esquire's going Genty, McBride, Walker, and Laporta?
I mean, I like all the players he drafted. Laporta obviously has the slight risk based off of his performance last year, but everything coming out of training camp seems like they're going to use him, and he's going to be a focal point of that offense again. Kenneth Walker, that's around where he's going, and I think again, if he stays healthy in that offense, he's gonna be a beast. But he's already banged up in camp. You want to stay healthy to see what he can actually do, but can he stay healthy?
Sir, what are your thoughts on Team 11 in the room? Does that change at all your strategy? Make you feel better, I assume, about drafting Kittle, possibly maybe pushing tight ends up when you see someone take 2 tight ends within the first 4 rounds in a best ball tournament draft? Where does your mind go?
Drawn dead.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a flawed proposition. No receivers, 2 tight ends. I know I don't have a receiver yet, but don't worry, they're coming. But 2 tight ends to me is just not. If you're taking that capital that early, I mean, Laporta has to be a top 3 tight end for it to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
He has to, be ahead of Kittle. Realistically, Laporta has to probably be tight end 1 or tight end 2 at the very worst. And McBride, you're just investing so much capital, and you're going to be so far behind because picking from the 11th slot, you're so far behind. Not taking any receivers in the first 4 rounds, it is literally going to be tough for you to catch up at that position. And obviously, you're behind a quarterback too.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there outs possibility with Kyler Murray, Jared Goff? Yeah, but I don't know. To me, it's just not something I would do.
I do got to shout out Dave Gerzak there in the chat. Jake, tuning in, the boss, tuning in for your first ever appearance. Also, of many names that were thrown out there, with the law firm of Liquorie, Terpoilli, and Venuti, Goodfellas, the 3 Goombas, an Italian-themed
love it
draft coverage. There we go. Terp, you're about to be on the clock here.
I already know how this is going to go. So, oh wow, it didn't go that way. I'm going to take the gift that was given to me. 4th round, Davante Adams. Thank you.
So Davante Adams, the latest he has dropped in this format is the 406. So
Merry Christmas.
Terp, are now, over the last 2 days, I should preface that, but Terp, you are now the new owner of the latest Davante Adams share in this contest.
And that's exactly what we want.
We're
back in business now. It was Davante Adams and nobody. It was Xavier Worthy would have been the next pick, but he's not coming back to me, so I can talk about him. But it was Davante Adams, and I have so much DJ Moore that I would have probably taken him if if Worthy wasn't there and Adams wasn't there. But this draft is going as well as it could have went for the build that I started, because I don't have any Davante Adams yet, because I'm picking at the beginning and he's usually never there. Maybe we get a Xavier Worthy. Hopefully nobody's watching that he comes all the way back, and I'll do backflips.
Team 2, I'm sorry for cutting you off. Team 2 snipes the Joe Burrow stack, but at their own expense.
Silly.
Naked Joe Burrow?
Silly. I mean, so I have a lot of Higgins, Chase, Burrow teams. If I'm taking Higgins and Chase and I don't get Burrow, that was just I almost cried there, George Pickens. He's really getting up in the 4th round. That is my guy, man.
He will be going mid 4th round.
Easily. And
Jake, let me
ask the question. You're going to ask the question.
George Pickens, what was it? George
8 for 120 and 2 touchdowns.
No, it was 8 for 100 and 2 touchdowns on the opening Thursday night game.
Thing.
George Pickens goes in what round in the Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning drafts?
If that's
his stat line, 8, 100 and 2 touchdowns.
He's got to be going in the 2nd round.
1-2 turns.
He has to go in the 2nd round.
Think about it. Amari Cooper put up a monster number, and he was
against the Bucks.
Whoever this team one is.
Team 1's having a draft.
He's really pissing me off right now. I'm not gonna lie. They're my guys. These are the guys that was coming back.
Who were the Cowboys receivers? Maybe it was 21 or 22. Was it
Amari Cooper?
It was Amari
and CeeDee Lamb, and they both went off.
Gallup, I think.
Was it Gallup?
Yeah.
I don't think CeeDee was.
I don't think CeeDee was there.
CeeDee might have been there. CeeDee was, I think, a COVID.
I think
maybe
I
not.
think he might have been there for a year. But regardless, people are going to realize, Dak has done it with 2 receivers before. He did it with, he had Cooper. CeeDee. 2023, the year he was QB 5 or in points. He had he had CeeDee Lamb, and then he had Cooks and Gallup, and Cooks averaged, I think, 11 points.
And Jake Ferguson that year,
and Jake Ferguson. And also, their run game is going to be bad. And Dak could throw the ball like 550 to 600 times this year, easily.
I agree.
So Steve G in the chat does point out, and I should correct myself, that Team 2 did have Chase Brown. So not a completely naked stack.
This is such a tough pick. I really want to take Rashee Rice. I really do. It just makes so much sense. But I'm very worried that he's going to get 6 games if Addison got 3. So I'm not going to do it, and I'm probably going to regret it. But there we go. Let's just get that out of the way.
Do you have any feeling with that pick, though, that like you just – if that suspension comes across your Twitter feed as like 3 games and you're just like
yeah, if I saw like 3 games tomorrow, I'd probably go play in traffic because that's an easy thing.
Oh man,
But people are going to be worried about him. Like, I look at it as like, with this build, I probably should have took Rice, but it was McMillan Rice. There was no other options.
You're getting praise for your build. The chat is saying that's a strong pick.
I mean, for the build, it makes sense. Do I worry about a lot of things, Carolina? You know, McMillan wasn't my favorite prospect coming out, but everything about him has been positive, which is kind of surprising because, like, usually when you have that hype around a player, he goes higher, and he's not going. He's not really. He's fallen in the 4th, 5th round. Like, to me, he should be a 4th round pick. He should be going right up there in the Mike Evans range. Teammates had a good draft so far. They can easily catch up at running back, so definitely one to worry about. And Team 1, I keep staring at that Pickens, Jameson, Williams. My 2 highest owned players.
A great pivot, I would say, once Burrow got sniped. And I will also just for the all the viewers, Rashi, 409 ADP over the last couple of days in this format, but the latest he's fallen is the 511. So this is on the lower end.
The groin injury today came out. People are going to worry about. So Addison, the suspension, the 3 games. If Rice, I don't think Rice is getting 3 games. If Addison's got 3, I don't think Rice gets 3. It's not even the same realm.
Rice is getting 6 to 8.
I think Rice is getting 6, and if Rice gets 6, then the pick in best ball is really tough to make because if you can get there, if you can get through that and get to the, then you have a monster. But having that capital that you're spending on Rice, it makes it a little more tricky.
Jake, let me ask you real quick. I think. One, Steve G shouted you out in the chat saying that if you don't bless his live event drafts, he worries. Yeah,
nobody. There's not so far. Every year there's somebody different, but Steve G is the one guy so far in drafts that I've said it. He said he didn't get to come in this draft. Thank you, because I don't want to draft against you. You draft a lot of the same players I do. I know a lot of people say I don't want to draft people that like Theo. Love Theo, good friend of mine, but like we think on the same wavelength, and I don't want people in that draft that are going to just snipe my players. They know my players by now. They know who I like. And Steve G, hey, any draft that you're in, I'll be happy to talk about, but I don't ever want to see you in any draft room that I'm in.
No, for those who don't know, Jake is, not only being the coordinator for the live events, but Jake is also there always with a football in hand, officiating the drafts. He's running them things, administering them. That's he's a modern day fantasy renaissance man when it comes to the FFPC live events. Jake, I was going to ask you more about the Chase Brown, Joe Burrow little Team 2 there, but that's not as fun as discussing who just got drafted. RJ Harvey listed as RB5 on the Broncos depth chart today.
I was really hoping he came back. I put a tweet out today. Everybody's watching this draft.
Yeah.
I hope they're paying attention to this. And clearly Team 12, who knows what they're doing, a very good drafter. He didn't buy into the hype. So Team 12, very good draft so far.
Jake, where are you at on Harvey with today's? I mean, it's not good news, but is it new? Should it be news at all, or is it just Sean Payton being Sean Payton?
I wouldn't worry about the round. I mean the RB5 on the depth chart because they traded up for him for a reason. They don't trust Julian McLaughlin. They don't care for Estein. They signed Dobbins, but it kind of made sense. But I did see something when I was digging around the Broncos beat reporters that said RJ Harvey was not picking up the pass protection.
Yeah,
he wasn't looking good in pass pro, which is only thing.
I think Dobbins should be moving up more.
Right.
I'm not focused on Harvey RB5, but I am focused on Dobbins being RB1. And as you said, he's probably looking better in terms of pass protection, which gets him on the field.
Right. But you are trying to go for that big grand prize. And I think by the end of the season, RJ Harvey will be the starter and will be a stud. So
Terp, Terp, what are your thoughts? Not on Harvey, I saw you obviously mentioned, but on Dobbins' ability to maybe move up. How much do you think he moves up?
I think he's going to move up, but like, I still think Harvey's the guy you want. Harvey's the guy with the upside. Harvey's the guy that, if we always say all rookies that come in, Jake said it perfectly. Can they protect the passer? Can they protect Bo Nix? If they can, they're going to play. RJ Harvey's a better player. J.K. Dobbins is no slouch. I'm not trashing him in any way, but at the end of the day, let me get the guy with the upside, the guy that can lead, can absolutely, Alvin Kamara type of player, that Sean Payton has. We've seen it in the past. To me, it's RJ Harvey. I'll draft some Dobbins, but like more in best ball than in a redraft because we click buttons in redraft. And J.K. Dobbins, no matter what happens with RJ Harvey being healthy, is a hard click every week, even as RB too.
Real quick, as your 6th-round pick comes up, I wanted to go back to round 5. How much consideration did Calvin Ridley get? Because I know you and me have been talking about. Is that just an exposure?
Thing? That's it. I have so much Calvin Ridley, Jameson Williams, and George Pickens are my 3 highest known players. I have so much of them. I'm going to have so much of them. So it's just an exposure thing. Ted McMillan's a guy I've been adding a lot lately. He's starting to fall a little bit, which is good. Travis Hunter not coming back to me broke my heart because I was really hoping he did. But we'll adapt. I'm on the clock now. This is an ugly running back range. I don't like Joe Mixon. I don't draft much David Montgomery. Aaron Jones won't see any of my teams. I've been very outspoken on Caleb Johnson and the Steelers. I love Patrick Mahomes, but by himself, not for me. I have a ton of Evan Ingram, so we're going to go receiver here. It's going to come down to Judy or Odunze. It's probably going to come down.
I know who Jake would want. I know who Jake wants you to take.
I mean, we're going to go Rome.
That's Jake would tell you. Jake, sing Terp's praises for this pick. You love Rome Odunze more than anyone I know. Can you elaborate on why?
So, like coming into last season, I really didn't know much about him. And, Caleb Williams was bad last year. But I remember watching Rome Odunze, I believe it was on Thanksgiving, when they were playing the Lions. And I watched his footwork, and I was like, this dude is going to be a stud. Like, the way he broke out of that stance, like, it was like he had, like, the footwork of Calvin Ridley almost. And then I was looking into his, like, red zone targets. He was, like, the highest targeted receiver on the team, red zone targets. And Ben Johnson loves him, praises him all the time in practice. So I'm high on Rome Odunze. I'm high on that Bears offense, regardless of how Caleb Williams looks, they will be.
That's a worry. I was very high on the Bears offense. I love Ben Johnson. I think he's going to be – I think the Bears could win the division this year. I don't think it's a crazy statement. But Caleb Williams just worries me. He has, like – Kyler Murray has always been my guy that, like, just drives me nuts. I hate the guy. I think he's a terrible football player. He's a very average quarterback, gets a lot of hype because he makes these spectacular plays, but he doesn't win. He doesn't win anything. Caleb Williams to me might have that same mental makeup, and that worries me. And you see all the stuff that goes around, and like if you're not going to succeed with Ben Johnson and the receivers you have now, what else do you need? I mean, you have all the weapons you need. You have Odunze, you have Moore, you have in Loveland, you have Luther Burden, you have a ton of guys that make sense. It just comes down to Caleb Williams, the mental part. The physical part's going to be fine, but the mental part, the offensive line is a question. The running back room is not very good to me, but Odunze was a guy I was very down on this year. He's a guy that I came into this year being very hyped up on. He's a guy I've been adding a lot lately because a lot of things have been positive, coming out on him. So I'm happy with the pick. I would have preferred Travis Hunter if he fell. I need to get my Travis Hunter exposure up before he gets hyped up too much. But so far, so good.
So I have 2 things. One, Kyler Murray is a better fantasy quarterback than he is a real life quarterback.
I don't think he's good at either, to be honest with you.
Last year he was so inconsistent from week to week, especially in managed leagues. There was weeks he's not throwing for a ton, and the rushing upside wasn't there. So
you're mainly drafting Kyler based on the way he can run the ball. You're definitely not drafting him because of his passing ability. But the second thing is with the Bears offense, everyone's I'm putting my trust in Ben Johnson, not really Caleb Williams. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
It's the same thing in Jacksonville. I'm a Jacksonville stan. All the Jacksonville guys I love. ETN, Tootin, not Bigsby, Hunter, Brian Thomas, Strange. Trevor Lawrence is my favorite quarterback to draft. Liam Cohen, I trust him. I think he's going to be a very good head coach. I think he's really going to turn the Jacksonville Jaguars into a force. But, it's still a question of these first-year guys because last year I thought, a lot of first-year coaches would work out and they didn't. So it's hard to do. It comes down to the quarterback play. Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, both top picks, both, stars in college, and both came in with a lot of hype, and both have not lived up to it so far. I know Caleb Williams was a little different because he just started, but Trevor Lawrence has been a bust so far. Let's call it what it is. He had one really good year, but he's another guy with no excuses right now. So,
Terp, you're on the clock. Talk us through this pick. Is it another receiver coming? I know there's a tight end on the board.
We got to stay on.
Yeah,
we got to stay on brand.
People thought Evan Ingram would be.
You got to stay on brand. It's got to be Evan Ingram. That's my guy. I bleed Evan Ingram. He's my tight end. My top 2 tight end owner, this year is Tucker Kraft and Evan Ingram. So I was thinking about taking him in the 6th round. I didn't want to say it out loud. Never thought he'd come back to me in the 7th round. So to me, it's an easy pick. Probably done at the tight end position. I might take another guy, way late, but things are working out really well, all things considered, starting with no receivers in the first 3 rounds. Didn't think Davante Adams was going to fall. McMillan, to me, is a value. Odunze is a little bit of a, up and down pick, but Evan Ingram in the 7th round is I approve.
Yeah. So, Terp, can you talk me into Ted McMillan? Because I have not drafted him one time. I won't even look at his name. A lot of people like him, but I personally
won't even look at his name, Jake.
I don't trust.
So my thing with Ted McMillan is, and I understand what you're saying, because when he came out of college, he was hyped, and I watched a lot of his tape, and it was okay, but he was not a guy that I was really excited about coming into the league. But I love Dave Canales. Bryce Young, I think, is going to take the next step. And everything you've seen so far in camp, it's really, really positive about him. They're going to figure out a way to get him the ball. He's going to get a ton of targets. And a guy that can get in the 5th round is going to get that many targets, to me, is a smash. I mean, it's hard. It's hard not to – if he was going to the 3rd round, I might trust my eyes and trust what I saw. But in the 5th round, I'm getting a clear-cut number 1 receiver. There's nobody else there. People could say Xavier Legette, Sanders, Adam Thielen, guys like that. McMillan's going to get a ton of work, and it's like our leader Dave said, when Adam Thielen says something good about you, it's hard not to buy it.
The now's probably a great time to mention, and Jake, this obviously also excitingly includes you. We have finalized our remaining live draft coverages for the year. Next week, we're having Andrew Cooper from Fantasy Alarm on a 7 p.m. Big Gorilla coverage. On August 20th, late night main event coverage, 10 p.m. Howard Bender from Fantasy Alarm is joining us. And then on the 27th, we have coverage, us 3 again, the 3 Goombas,
I love
the
that.
$5,000 entry, big payback league, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So just wanted to clarify. I'll be posting.
And the $5,000 league, we're going to try to get some guests that are drafting in that league.
Yes.
I'm sure some of them will come in and give their input on everything.
Steve
that's
G.
Gonna be that's going to be a fun draft. That's going to be a fun draft. Anybody that we're going to reach out to all the drafters in that league. And
I mean, that league going to be the big guns because it's a 5 country, but we're excited for that. We're doing that one. So we have obviously this is the best ball. We have 1 big gorilla.
We're gonna add another best ball. I'm sure we're gonna add another main event in here as the season goes on, because this was fun. This is gonna be fun. Obviously, I still have 13 rounds left, but anything that fills in 24 hours, the powers that be are gonna want us to do more of these. So we're all gonna have fun with the 3 Goombas together and do this again here soon.
Yeah, so I did just want to kind of throw that out there and let everyone know that is obviously, as Terp said, there's probably going to be 1 or 2 more that will get added on non-Wednesdays, but our Wednesday official live draft coverage are those, the Big Gorilla main event and Big Payback. All those are listed as live on the FFPC YouTube on myffpc.com. Jake, I want to ask you real quick. Team 8 started Brock Bowers, then went 4 straight receivers to start after the Rashee Rice pick. Terp mentioned how he was really liking their team. They go DeAndre Swift and then Caleb Johnson to kind of start their running back room. Where are you at on this team and their build so far?
I mean, I love Bowers and St. Brown and Tyreek, but I'm iffy with Evans. And, if Rashee Rice gets 6 to 8 games, it's going to be tough. But Swift I do like. I know Terp said he didn't like Swift, but I like Swift. He's the clear, starting running back on that team. He played with Ben Johnson, Detroit. They must have seen something that they liked in him or still like in him because they didn't draft. They don't have a high draft capital running back and they didn't sign anyone. Caleb Johnson, I'm not high on. He's another running back that I read was not picking up the pass protection. I've seen a bunch of like Kenneth Gainwell, third downs, Kenneth Gainwell, best, good in pass pro. And Jalen Warren's also very good out of the backfield. So I think personally, Caleb Johnson's upside is limited, especially with Warren there.
Terp, where are you at on teammate? I know you were singing their praises. Since building out the running back room, where are you at on them now?
I mean, I might not agree with Caleb Johnson. I might not agree with DeAndre Swift, but the build is great. I mean, those receivers are what most people would love to get out of drafts. Obviously, getting Brock Bowers is a massive positive, falling to the 1.8. Some people have been taking him as high as the second overall. So I love the build. I mean, there's nothing really negative to say about it whatsoever.
Terp, so at what point, obviously, do you kind of start looking back in running backs? Or are you kind of full bore now on receivers and then starting to look at the quarterbacks? Where's your head at right now as we kind of enter that, RB 30 through 40 tier over the next couple rounds?
Tyrone Tracy would have been a guy that I would have considered. It came out. He's my number one owned running back before the injury to Scatterbo, but he's a guy that I've been drafting a ton in every format. I just love Tracy. I just think he was always going to be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
What could happen down the road is a different story, but I'm not going to victory lap a preseason injury because we still have a month before the season starts. But he's a guy that I probably would have taken if he would have came to me. But besides that, it's probably, there's a ton of running backs. It's another flat range when it comes to like August 6th. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks here, some receivers that are okay, but there's also a lot of running backs that, make sense here. If it makes sense for the build, which it might. Jordan Mason makes sense. Jalen Warren would have made sense. Joe Mixon is really, he's getting to a point where he might need to get drafted. Probably not here, though. So right here, I have a bunch of different options. Let me look at the board real quick to see.
I love seeing what the chat wants you to do.
I see a lot of Swift hate in the comments.
Yeah, Jake, it's nice having you on because me and Terp are not always in lockstep per se, but we kind of draft similar, have similar takes. Paul Teixeira has been pushing for Emeka Egbuka, Terp, like for multiple rounds now. Is that at all popping into your head?
No.
We'll get into that.
Big fan of him, but not yet.
Steve G says Jordan Mason, another Egbuka.
I mean, there's a bunch of different ways I can go. The safe way, I'm not a safe person, but 16 seconds. I usually don't take this long.
Terp timing out would be some great content.
I'm going to buy the dip.
Oh,
Terp, I was going to say him. That was a tough pick though, because I was looking at who was left, and
there's a bunch of different guys here that I like this range. Like Egbuka is a guy that I'm going to strongly consider. There's a quarterback that I'm going to strongly consider that might be the next pick.
Okay,
but I'm just looking at the board, and to me, my next pick. I mean, there's a ton of running backs here. I like all these guys. Like, are they exciting? They all have their negatives, but when it comes to Mason, when it comes to Warren, Tracy, they all have their issues where it could be, and Joe Mixon not being drafted yet is extremely surprising to me. I mean, it could be something I regret because there's a lot of bad press about it, and I don't have any Joe Mixon yet. But a gamble in the 9th round that he might come back, week 1 or a couple weeks after, and he's 100%. One thing about Joe Mixon is he's a strong dude. He's not a guy that's going to sit out unless it's bad. So we've Nick Chubb is definitely a worry, but he's not had a lot of positive. So there goes.
Mason and Egbuka were the two names I saw most commonly in the chat, and they go right after you.
That's fine. I mean, Addison to me is
why
games now it's built in, so I'm not worried about it.
Uh-huh.
So I know right now it's different from a Rashee Rice. Addison, I think he was in 3 games. No, but I'm not as worried about it now because I have 3 receivers. I have the 2 tight ends. Addison's a guy that can hit when it matters, and that's what I look at in a build like this. I'm set at running back right now, but we'll see how the next couple rounds pay off because there's a way that there's 2 guys that I really want to come back to me, One is pretty obvious. One is not. But I'm seeing how it pans out.
So with the Addison pick, I know this is best ball, but with Achane through Ingram, you already have like your starting lineup filled out aside from quarterback. So the Addison pick is not going to hurt you. And it's best ball draft receiver.
Exactly. It's not like I'm not taking like people always say, like, I know a lot of people put out there, I'm taking a 0 when I take this pick. For 3 weeks, yes, I'm taking a 0, but my lineup is not taking a 0. There's going to be plenty of guys that I draft in this rest of this thing for the first 3 weeks and to get me by. Yeah. And then Jordan Addison, who should be going realistically with no suspension 2 rounds higher. He should be going in the Hunter, Olave, Odunze, Judy level. So to me, it makes a ton of sense with this build. If you were telling me if I was taking Addison as my wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 2 in some certain builds, yeah, then I'm out. But it's all about the build, the structure. Structure is extremely important. Dak Prescott I love Dak Prescott. This is the stuff I don't understand about best ball. Team 1 drafted a really, really, really good draft. What? No, he has Pickens. Never mind. Ignore
I was like, where? Joe Mixon.
I'm looking at this. I'm like, just ignore me. Sorry.
No, they're having a really good draft.
Really, really good draft. Love the tight end room. Jonathan Taylor.
I like the Njoku Loveland double tap.
Very much agree. Team one is one of my favorites so far.
Jake, once Team 4 makes their pick here, we're gonna before Terp clicks, we're gonna guess who he's.
I love a good guess.
Who he's gonna take?
Yeah, I have my guess locked in. If team.
I don't think either of you are gonna be right. To be honest with you,
I'm guessing Bo Nix.
It's not Bo Nix. If you look at the board,
God damn it,
you know why it's not Bo Nix.
Well,
Bo Nix makes a ton of sense, but I'm looking at the board.
Okay.
Look at the board. Everybody has quarterbacks except for 1, 2 teams. If they take Bo Nix, that's okay. But
I have one guy in mind, but I don't think he likes him, and I don't like him either. But he makes sense for best.
So I'll talk.
Who is it? Who is it, Jake? Who's your guess?
Jaden Reed.
The answer is Jaden Reed. He was
wow.
Just because Reed, if you look at Reed, Reed's a perfect best ball player. He's not playing in 3 wide receiver sets. 2 wide receiver sets, but he's going to have those spike weeks. He's on a great offense, and that's a good pick there. As your wide receiver 5, that's a great pick.
And if it does mean something, Balky says Jaden Reed is his receiver that he would take out of the Packers, out of any. And we were discussing a big gorilla, which was managed. Best ball only makes it easier to take him.
Right. There's like 3 or 4 receivers that I wouldn't even touch in redraft. I will only take in best ball, and Jaden Reed is one of them.
Jake said it perfectly. When
I want to hear those other 4 though, Jake.
When it comes to certain formats, you take certain players, certain guys, in redraft, my famous line that I say all the time is you got to click a button. It's so hard to click these guys weekly because you're probably going to be wrong most of the time. So could Jaden Reed be exactly what he was and he showed the flashes? Yes. But if he's not, you're going to be taking a 2 for 30 every week. And that's not.
Yeah. Do you want to make that decision with Reed and, take that 2 catches, 30 yards and 1 rush for 5 yards?
Let's just say this was redraft, and Addison wasn't suspended and you had Reed and Addison. Who are you starting every week?
Addison. 100%. I'm more looking at someone like Myers. I'm starting Myers every week over Reed, especially.
I agree.
I said this on Friday on the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour. I do wonder. Reed was beat up last year. I know there's going to be he's a spike week player, but the high ankle sprain that saps a lot of what he can do, and he didn't get touches. Balky was elaborating too. Got a shoulder injury late in the year, and really touches went downhill from there. So I'm buying that Packers offense. I love Matthew Golden.
Yeah.
I like the Jaden Reed pick. Jake, I do want to hear who are your other names that you're only drafting in best ball? You said there was 4 or 3 or 4.
For sure, Jaden Reed, Rashad Bateman, and Marvin Mims in best ball.
Yeah.
And the other one is another Packers receiver, Romeo Doubs, because reports that he's been good. Love in him. They had a connection last year. He got hurt, whatever. But I'm reading that they're connecting well in camp. I think the best thing you can do in a best ball is leave the draft with 1 Packers wide receiver, whether it be Wicks, Golden, Dobbs.
Redraft is much tougher because
redraft. I don't want any of them. I want Tucker Kraft in redraft, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm Tucker Kraft is one of my highest end tight ends. I totally agree with you. if I had to leave one to redraft, it would probably be Golden. You're just betting on the upside a little bit.
Yeah.
You're betting on he's going to play in the 2 receiver set that they predominantly play with the tight ends. But it's still, when it comes to redraft, I'll take the upside. I'll take the upside of Golden over like the Rashid
Shaheed as a best ball
is a great
one. Great one. I will say, too. Steve G says Reed 2 years close out the year strong. Jaden Reed won. I'm blanking on who won it. Yeah. He single-handedly won the main event for a team.
Monday Night Football.
Against the Vikings.
Right. But now remember, since then, they drafted Golden. They signed Josh Jacobs. They have a couple
Dobbs, Wicks. Kraft got more involved.
So there's
Jaden Reed's another fun one of Vegas drafts, and why that Saturday draft is really fun too, because Jaden Reed last year against the Eagles, big game, but the rest of the season was a dud.
I was banging my head after that game, like, wow, I have no shares of him. How did I miss that? And then the rest of the year, I was like, all right.
Last year was a fun year when it comes to the Vegas draft because you had Isaiah Likely and you had Jaden Reed
and Saquon.
But Saquon paid off. So like,
you're talking about guys who didn't pay off. Yeah.
Yeah. People that, that took that leap, it made a ton of sense. But, people that, took Isaiah Likely where they took him was just a disaster.
I think there was a slight Derrick Henry drop too.
Yeah, Derrick Henry had like 9.8 points, and Justice Hill was getting all the passes, and people were like freaking out. All game script with that.
Terp, I got to ask you, it's been a common discussion topic. News out of Cowboys beat reporter today was that Javonte Williams looks like the clear one. Jaden Blue is kind of their change of pace. Can you, and I think the quote was Javonte Williams looks back to the form as why the Broncos drafted him so highly in 2021. We fell for the Javonte Williams propaganda. What was it, 2 years ago? Or is
we never fell for anything.
We fell for it.
I fell for it.
Don't throw me under the bus.
Don't throw me under the bus either. I was never on any Javonte Williams train. I was always against Javonte Williams from day one.
I will hunt down the clips of us being like, we're starting to get into Javonte Williams in the 5th round.
Maybe like later in the process, maybe get a little bit of exposure.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm talking
I was never a Javonte Williams guy. Never coming at it.
Is there any Javonte Williams propaganda that can make you draft him this year?
He will be a 0% owned guy for Dave.
Really?
If I'm drafting any Cowboys running backs, it's Jaden Blue. That's it. Unless they trade for somebody, then we'll adjust when we adjust. But, there's just no path where I'm drafting any of these guys.
Steve G got Henry in like the 5th round after him. Yeah, last year was – we said it on pretty much last year was just insane. With the 2 games – not only added a whole nother dimension, but the fact that both games were offensive explosions with some players who were kind of going in the mid rounds, going crazy. 2nd round Isaiah Likely will live in infamy. 2nd round Jaden Reed, Derrick Henry to the 5th. But then there was the ones that worked out.
Just think about Isaiah Likely if you had caught that touchdown and he got his feet in.
Been like 40 points.
And you get to overtime and maybe something happens there. Where does he go then?
Would it have been overtime?
Me and you had this conversation. It was overtime, wasn't it?
I think they would have won the game. I don't know. I think
they went for 2 because I think they were coming out to go for 2.
Yeah, the game was going to to be over. I remember.
Either way, he probably would have went in the 1st round if he would.
There would have been for sure. No, it was crazy, and hopefully we got 2 good ones this year too. Eagles Cowboys should be exciting. Like there's. In a sense of with the Cowboys, like that running back room, the unknowns, does someone emerge in game 1?
The Eagles-Cowboys game has so much to offer when it comes to drafts Saturday. And
I fear Chargers-Chiefs might not be – the way the Chiefs have been playing, that very well could just be like a 21-17 game where it's just nothing special. Worthy could have a big bump. Obviously Ladd. I think Hampton, when he doesn't get used as much as people want, sees a drop off. That's my prediction. Hampton falls like the 6th or 7th after a disappointing debut game, which perfectly leads to
move up.
Let's not even get cute here. Let's not even get cute.
Falls. Gotta love that. Caleb Williams goes right after. Let's make our predictions. And this obviously you drafted Hampton. Omarion Hampton Friday night game. Does his draft stock on the Saturday drafts in the draft will after that game, I'm stumbling over my words, his draft stock will go up, stay the same, or go down?
It's going to go down because they're playing the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have a very good run defense, and they're going to prepare for Hampton. So my prediction is right now he's going in the 3rd round. He'll go in the 6th round after that game.
No.
I think he's going to have a very disappointing debut.
It's possible. I mean, when it comes to Hampton, like this is actually, I'll say this one thing. It's the first Hampton share that I have so far. When it comes down to it, I don't know. I kind of agree with you guys when it comes to, Harris being back. Is he that good? He was another guy that wasn't a favorite of mine coming out of the draft. I just didn't love him, but he could fall, but he's not going to fall 6th.
I'm just saying we got spoiled.
The only way he falls that far is the Thursday night.
I'm saying like he has like 9 carries for like 38 yards. I think that's more in the realm of possibility than him going off.
Yes. Okay.
And then I think people freak out, and then it's a great value pick for those Saturday, Sunday morning drafted teams because he will be really good come the end of the year. Team Terp, I want to ask you, teams 1, great draft still so far. Your thoughts on double tapping tight end there, and then double tapping quarterback stacks
Team
for both quarterbacks
from a massive just like gut punch right in front of him when it comes to Burrow.
Uh-huh.
There's no way he wasn't taking Burrow. He set up to take Burrow. I would love to have him on here to talk about that, but he adjusted as perfect as he could have. He took 2 of my favorite players, 2 of my favorite tight ends, 2 of my favorite quarterbacks, like Luther Burden. Nothing negative to say about this team whatsoever. I mean, this is a team that I'm going to be battling with all season in this league. I mean, it's very, very, very well drafted, and really there's nothing I could say negative about it.
No, you got Goff, Montgomery, J-Mo, and then Dak and Pickens.
Yeah, I mean, Terp, is that your favorite team outside of your own in this league, I assume?
By a large margin, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've done.
I'm a big fan of Team 12. I think that team just screams upside.
Team 12 and Team 1.
Here's my issue with Team 12. They have 2 Niners receivers, and I think the best Niners receiver was the one they passed on. That's like not
Niners receivers, and guess what? Hold on, I'm not going to say it yet, but I'm just going to stay silent for a second.
I'm not going to lie. I think I'm Pearsall over Jennings.
Really?
I'm Jennings over Pearsall, but like Pearsall's getting a lot of hype right now.
I don't know.
If they pay Jennings, if Jennings gets a contract here soon, it's Jennings over Pearsall. But like that's starting to worry me. Like, hey, this guy just doesn't want to, be out there. He's going to, the calf injury that he has is it real? Is it not real? There's a lot of questions that come in there. So,
Jake, are you Pearsall now because of the unknown with kind of the injury and the contract?
No, I've been reading a lot of like beat reports out of like San Fran, and Pearsall and Purdy have really been working on their timing. And Purdy said, he's like, last year Pearsall was just not in the spots where I placed the ball, and they really have been. I need to hear about that. That wasn't you, Terp. They
he thought you did
Purdy
Henry.
I thought you took on Henry. I was like, I need to hear about that. No, Pearsall has the 1st round draft capital. He has no comp. Like Ayuk's out. Jennings
hamstrings worry me about Pearsall.
That is it. But Purdy will lock onto someone. He will.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, and like Dave Gerzak just said, well, first of all, you can't be a 7th round pick. Jennings had 3 career good games.
I love him coming out though,
and then demand all
way
this money.
More than 3 good games.
Yeah, I mean,
first off, big game player would have been the Super Bowl MVP if they won that game.
Yeah,
and he had some really good games last year.
To holdout, I don't know. I don't think he's worthy of a holdout, in my opinion.
Yeah, valid. If Juwan Jennings is holding out, the holdout game has expired. It's not cool anymore.
Terry McLaurin, I would hold out as long as he can.
Terp, let's talk about it. Team 12.
He's not
doesn't have a quarterback.
He's not happy with me.
Kicking the dick. But you're pairing.
But to me, Nixon and Purdy are too hard to pass up.
And Purdy and
these
Kittle.
Are the drafts that I really like because like I started a way that I usually don't ever start with no receivers in the first 3 rounds, and it's worked out so far because now I can literally take any position I want. I'm probably going to start hitting running backs here. It's going to be a lot of running back, receiver. There's a chance I might throw a quarterback just to end the room because I do like the 3 quarterback builds this year, but it's really hard for me not to love the start that I have because let's just look at the Broncos situation. Nixon and Ingram, Purdy and Kittle. Different from what most people build. Most people build with the receivers. I build with the tight ends. But they also give me, like, especially with Denver, some receivers later, whether it's Marvin Mims, guys like that, Franklin's, Pat Bryant's, guys like that might be shots in the dark that come pay off later in the season. So,
Terp, I don't want to cut you off,
good.
but I want to talk about team 12 before they pick right now. Do you guys think that he double taps quarterback and takes Lawrence and Stroud?
That's the only negative about the end of the draft. Like, he was probably setting up Brock Purdy. He was probably setting up. Right. I would love to talk 100%. To him. He's probably going to talk in the chat about Brock Purdy. But
he's gonna double tap. He has to double tap quarterback right now.
But he might go Tua.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. He's definitely taking Lawrence.
I mean, he passed on Kyler. Like, he knew that Kyler probably that was a conscious decision to do that.
He might take a tight end too. No.
The problem is when you're picking at the end, you're risking it. You're risking the quarterback run getting burned because a lot of these teams, like the Jaden Daniels team, the Jalen Hurts team,
there he goes. Yeah,
they don't have a quarterback yet. They don't have a second quarterback yet. So they're going to start getting caught up in this run, which I love personally because taking the Purdy pick kind of like makes me not worry about the position for a little bit because I have Stafford outs. I have Bryce Young outs. I have J.J. McCarthy outs. Never mind, I don't have J.J.
He had to do that. He couldn't wait on quarterback another round because, if you're looking at Geno Smith and Darnold, they both have week 8 buys. So did Lawrence.
But my thing with J.J. McCarthy is, I know everybody loves him. We talk about him a bunch on the show and how he's like the biggest wild card in fantasy football this year because he controls so many people. With this build, I would have took Tua. You have Waddle. It makes a lot more sense to me. You're building a really, really good team. To me, you just bank on Tua being Tua, being healthy, playing 17 games, whatever. McCarthy by himself, I don't. That's the first pickup that he's drafted so far that I don't like. And the Ayuk pick, I have 0% Ayuk, and I won't have any Ayuk.
Yeah, I would have definitely went to Tua if I was team 12 over McCarthy. I don't like the Ayuk pick either, especially when you have Pearsall. But
I'm trying to still make out Team 11 taking Stroud.
Hey, you can win in any format no matter what you do when it comes to picks. I mean, obviously, if CJ Stroud's a top 5 quarterback, this team might make a run, but Kyler Murray with McBride, I can't see it. It's definitely McBride. But then CJ Stroud with who? You can still build it. Like Jaden Higgins is gone.
Yeah, the issue was his receiver room, right, was
Smith, Flowers, Samuel, Marvin Mims.
And there he took a bunch of receivers in rounds 5 through 7 who quarterbacks were already off the board, so eliminating stack opportunities before they could even be possibility.
I like what team 9, I think it is. I can't see their whole team, but Garrett Wilson with Fields, Mahomes and Kelsey, Panix, and I'm pretty sure with Drake London.
Yep.
Hey, they went neighbors to Drake London.
Yeah, I mean that's a very well drafted team. Like running backs, James Cook, you're getting a little bit of discount. Hubbard, who I like a lot more than most people, and Tyron Tracy, we've talked about. Like, it's a very well drafted team.
Terp, you're in the chat. Don Gazzetti calling you High Noon Terp. No high noon tonight.
It's margarita night. It's margarita night. I'm drafting tonight. We can't just have high noons. It's not gonna get me there. I gotta get there.
No sun cruisers, Terp?
No sun cruisers, bro. High Noon is pretty much my sponsor, and why I love them so much, and I'll just be frank about it, is somewhere in Planet High, which I'm really upset about, they charge $5 for the big boys. So it's really hard not to love that in a hold on, I'm on the clock before I'm yapping my mouth off.
Where's Dave when you need it?
This is really, really difficult because I want to buy the dip on one player, and it makes a ton of sense, but there's also a guy that I really want to draft. So I'm just going to draft the guy I really want to draft.
It's your third running back. I don't hate it, especially those weeks James Conner is going to get hurt. You're guaranteed to have a RB1 at some point. And a lot of
this
positive
draft might
points.
be my favorite draft I've drafted so far, and not because I love all the players.
Are you just saying that? Are you just saying that?
No, I'm really. When have I never came on here and like I hate my draft? Remember the draft last year that it was on the preview. I was really excited about. I was juiced up when I got Christian Watson.
Yeah.
That team was I had 10 last year Fantasy Pros teams. 9 out of them made the playoffs. The only team that didn't make the playoffs was that team. Every other team made the playoffs. So
that's how it goes.
And I love that team. Literally, it was my favorite team.
Of all the drafts you've done live, I don't think there's been a single one where we didn't like. Like, at worst, it was like, yeah, that was a good draft, not a great draft. But, like, we've never had a bad one. To be honest, for content purposes.
Live are my favorite drafts because, like, most people that are in this room, they know who I like. Like, this filled in 24 hours. It wasn't just a random occurrence. So these guys, like, know exactly, like, the players that I like, and they still, in most cases, are not taking them. So, hey, like I always say, if you're getting in these drafts and you're drafting with me or anybody that's in these drafts, and you're taking my players just for the sake of taking them, then that's just stupid. You're trying to win a ton of money. Like, we're trying to win $1 million in some cases in some of these drafts. Like, this is obviously a $300,000 grand prize, but
guys, we have some big news in the chat.
It's my good.
I like the Benson pick. I probably would want Tank Bigsby, but and I don't like him, but I like him.
Guys, big news in the chat. Steve G, we have a little fantasy soprano. He and his wife just had their first child, so congrats to Steve.
Steve, I have a question for you. You can answer in the chat. Are you going to be there Thursday? Because I'm not going to be there Friday. It's not my fault. It's American Airlines' fault. It's not my fault.
Are you leaving right after the game, Terp?
No, I'm leaving at 3:00 on Friday, so I'll be home. It's not by choice. I wanted to stay at the Friday game, take the red eye, and do the same thing that I always do. But I can't do it this year because American canceled the flight. I'm devastated about it. I'm on the clock too. Crap.
It says, Jake, I don't know how far you make it in these streams. This is around 12, 13 is when these streams begin to go a little bit off the rails as we try and discuss all these third string running backs.
Let's close the room. Yeah, let's just do that.
Ooh, over a running back term.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the room just closes right now. I don't worry about it anymore. I'm done with the quarterback position. I'm probably done with the tight end position.
Over
so for me, it's just running back receivers. Browns running backs don't excite me. Junkins did before all the crazy shit he's been doing, but running back is just there's so many of them that are like all the same.
Yeah, the same, yeah.
So like, this is an ugly receiver room right now. So like, I like a lot of receivers late that make a lot of sense.
Jeez,
so it's
I don't know. That running back room is just scary to me, especially if Hampton does have a slow start, like we kind of talked about.
There's only one that really stands out to me for running backs. Nothing.
We talked about him before the show. I think it's the same guy, and if he comes back to me, I'll be very excited. He probably won't. There's so many guys here.
It's going to be Sean Tucker.
No, he just went. Braylon Allen was
Braylon Allen was definitely the guy that I was thinking about. I thought there was a chance.
Okay, cool, yeah. He's the only one with like standalone value.
That's okay. Like I'm okay with being weak in position because I'm pretty solid elsewhere.
Team 8's done a fine job. I know it's scrolled down, but their first running back was Swift. I've liked their Charbonnet, Ramondre, Braylon Allen.
Team 8 had a really good draft. Team 9 had a really good draft. There's a lot of teams in here that have a really good draft. There's not any team in here that I could say it was like a massive donkey. I was really hoping like when I logged on, like there was going to be some like I've been in some drafts where guys taking 5 tight ends out of the first 6 rounds, and I'm just like, thanks for the donation. Like, it's not going to work. But this draft so far, very good. I'm very happy with how things went for myself, but obviously there's a lot of Najee Harris would have been a nice.
I think Najee's getting a little bit silly how low he's going in some of these drafts.
Right.
It is. There's a lot. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is never going to tell you anything, so. I mean, let's look at the board real quick and see what's in them.
It's not going to kill you in round 13.
No. Jake, let me ask you a quick question real quick. 1301, Roshan Johnson went. There was some Kyle Monahay. I probably should learn how to say his last name. buzz that, he might have a role. We kind of talked. You like Swift. A lot of people don't. If you're not taking Swift, is Roschon or Kyle Monahay the Bears running back to own in your mind?
Probably Roschon Johnson. I mean, the report I saw today was Swift's a starter. Roschon is the short yardage goal line back, and then Monagay's like the change of pace speed type back. So I would probably go Johnson just for the touchdown upside. And he has the experience. Monagay obviously doesn't have much. He doesn't have any NFL experience, but I'm still big on Swift. So we'll see.
Hey, I think, Terp, correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, you may be the first person we've had on who's high on Swift. There might be one other name out there who was hyping it, but
I mean, I'll draft him, but not with any excitement.
Jake, let me ask you this: when you're drafting and you feel like the whole fantasy community consensus is against the guy, and you're a fan, do you like that because you feel as though you're confident in your ability to get him because so many people pass on them, and you're feeling like as though it's a value, just in a general sense, not even with just Swift?
Yeah, I mean, like Ted McMillan, I understand Terp's take. I probably still won't take him. I just don't. Bryce Young. I'm not comparing Ted McMillan and Deontay Johnson, but Deontay Johnson had the same hype last year where he was getting peppered in training camp with targets. Blah blah blah. He was going in the fourth, fifth, something like sixth round maybe, and he was
fifth or seventh.
The only thing that saved him was Andy Dalton for 4 weeks, and that was it. So I'm going to have to see it with Ted McMillan. And if I whiff on him this year, I'll be in on him next year. But, with Swift, it's just the running backs that are going Aaron Jones, everything coming out with Mason. It looks like it's going to be, 60-40. Tony Pollard, I think that Tajay Spears takes a step up. He was really good to end the year last year. And it's just, I don't know. That offense I think I'm still high on the Bears offense. I think they're going to be high scoring. And again, they added really no competition for him. So I just think that the volume he's going to get in the 6th round, I don't think he's going to miss.
Fair.
If that makes sense.
It almost sounds to me, just putting words in your mouth, it almost seems as though you feel as though he has a very high floor for a 6th round pick. On top of that, with the offense, he very well could have a higher ceiling than a lot of the guys ahead of him as well.
Right. I don't think he's going to miss. I think there's a chance that Isaiah Pacheco and Caleb Johnson miss, guys like that. But I think I think he's safe.
I just want to say, Dave in the chat. Dave, by the way, I want to just, not you, Terp, Dave Gerzik. I do want to keep calling Dave the Dizzle because I feel as though that's just ingrained in me because bulky, but it just feels wrong to call him.
He needs to really be quiet in chat right now because he's really bothering me because I know who he's talking about. I'm pretty sure I know who he's talking about.
I think I know who he's talking about too. Where's Sean Green when you need him?
He just got drafted. Was he the guy? Can he confirm Mr. Gizzle or Dizzle, whatever they call you these days?
I was thinking it was I was thinking a completely different one.
He's the hype guy.
No, Tudin's not been the hype guy. There's a different.
Who's the guy? Say it.
I thought he's talking about JCM. I thought he was talking about Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt.
Well, yeah, but
I want to know who Dave is talking about.
Who are you talking about? Just say it. I don't care.
About the fumbles?
Hyping. Who's hyping?
I'm lost.
He's tweaking me right now, and I have no idea who he's talking about. Learn to type hyping.
I think he's talking about Monaghan.
Yeah, but that's not it. I'm not
Ja'Cory. Oh, he was talking about Ja'Cory.
That guy's good.
Is Ja'Cory autocorrecting to hyping? Is that what's going on in our
Dave must have a couple. He must have a couple whiskeys in him right now.
Did you hear the whole jersey thing with JCM? How he gave his jersey numbers? Was it him? I think it was him. He gave his jersey number to someone, and for some reason it was against the NCAA or whatever rules, and he had to sit out a year. I'm about to look it up.
Oh, in college.
Yeah, in college. And
he just fucking name has a hyphen. Jake, I've mentioned this before. You know what's crazy to me? In our SiriusXM FSGA experts draft,
he might say
best ball. We got JCM in the 18th round. That was crazy.
Yeah. Makes up for your Justice Hill art running back too.
Hey, don't hate on Justice Hill. We got sniped. Again, I've talked about it extensively. I haven't brought it up. Me and Jake on the phone, you know how down bad you have to be when we were upset that we got sniped for Ty Johnson Jake's like, dude, I really want Ty Johnson. And he goes like a pick before. Like,
17 rounds. That's
17 rounds of serial killer shit, man.
It was 20 rounds. It was 20 rounds of 17.
Who the hell was getting drafted in 20
17 teams. 17 teams. Oh, my God.
But there was defenses and kickers. So it was really 16 rounds. It was horrible. So it was rough, but that's besides the point.
I mean, you had guys like.
I mean, yeah, we drafted Kyle Juszczyk. Like,
yeah, right. You had like guys that you might like Arian Smith, just crazy guys.
Just fake names, like fake players who genuinely might be working like non-football jobs.
Davante Turpin.
Honestly, like who knows with that Dallas.
But Turpin, you can tell yourself a story. Like
there's a story there. Yeah, like there's going to be a couple maybe punter kick returns in there. Like,
he might catch like an 80-yard touchdown one game. Like that's a story you can tell. Yeah. Justice Hill's a story you can tell too. All jokes aside,
it's best ball.
Like I'm sure some of them picks were just like Jesus. Like it's painful even like, say this guy's name out loud.
Need to be the chosen one that he's promised to be for that team to have any chance. And just even then, if we even have no shows.
So is there any chance that Austin Eckler gets cut with the emergence of JCM?
No.
It's possible. He's not a guy I've been drafting a ton. So
yeah. I like JCM a lot, but I do think there hits a point where I was all over him, right? Like in our draft, I think there hits a point where he gets too high because that running back room could very well be growth, including Daniels. Like Terp, how high would JCM have to get with like kind of everything we know now where you're just like, there's just not enough.
He's never getting to a point where it's going to be uncomfortable to take him. Like in that room with that team, like let's just say he gets to the 10th round. Like by the time we draft in Vegas, like it's whatever. Like you got to take him. If the hype's there and he's going to play, you got to do it. Like Ryan Robinson, nobody likes drafting him. Austin Eckler, I'm not drafting him either. So to me, it's just you take the upside. If it doesn't pan out in a redraft, you cut his ass.
Speaking of height, Jake, Pop Douglas for your Patriots has been balling out with Drake May. Obviously, Diggs is there. He's Douglas. Douglas was a guy I think wasn't drafted in some of our early coverages. He goes in the 15th round now. Jake, are you buying the DeMario Douglas preseason buzz?
In a redraft league, yes. Not in a best ball. In a best ball leagues, I would rather take flyers on Keyshawn Boot later, because Douglas he's playing in the slot in a McDaniels offense, which is good. But I don't see any 20-point weeks coming his way. I think it's going to be a lot of like 8, 9, 10. Low scoring average weeks, but I do think he is going to have a role for sure.
Terp, you're back on the clock. Where are we looking here in round 15?
Keep shooting for the moon, man.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there you go.
That's an interesting name, Brashard Smith on that Friday. What if he even has a role? Is productive in that role, and Pacheco and Hunt have more inefficient games. He's a guy who I think could be shooting up.
And I'll say this about him: it might be a little bit of a silly pick just because there's a chance he gets cut and then you're stuck, but I don't think he gets cut. I don't think
he gets cut.
One of those three guys,
there's a chance
cut, but this the Hunt versus
Elijah Mitchell
thing, like I think they'll take the rookie, but it's also a team that like doesn't need to they can store a rookie. Smith's probably not getting picked up by anybody, so like that's a worry. But if things continue to progress as they progress so far, he's getting a lot of positive press. To me, on a team like this, I'm just shooting for a little upside. I probably, in normal circumstances, might take it Rico Dowdell. That's my guy. But yeah, I'm just going to shoot for the moon a little bit and then just start pounding the receiver here soon.
So you're almost done with running back. You're comfortable with the running back?
At 5, I'm comfortable. I'm more comfortable than I did 6, 5.
You have 5.
I'm good at running back. I'm not in any way worried about running backs at all. I think this. I mean, I said this earlier, but I really, really like the way the structures come out. Like, hey, all these players are not guys that I draft a ton of. I don't have much Hampton. I don't have much Kittle. I don't have much Odunze. I should have more. I don't have much Jaden Reed. This is the first Bo Nix I have because I don't stack many guys outside of Ingram, and I usually miss Nix. This is the first Trey Benson team I have, which I love Trey Benson, but
that's crazy because you're such a Trey Benson guy.
I'm a Trey Benson guy. I have a ton of JCM. I have a ton of Smith. I have a ton of Evan Ingram. I mean, this is a team that I really, really like so far. We'll see how it pans out, but the structure of it, with Nix, Ingram, I still can build another receiver there. Purdy and Kittle. I'm probably done with the 49ers there. There's not really any running backs or receivers that I really like. Bryce Young, though, it gives me a bunch of different outs here coming up here soon. So
Can I say?
there's one that I really, really want.
Can I say a Niners name?
Go for it.
Jordan James.
I'm about to say Jordan James.
Jordan James is a good one, especially with Garendo being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
James also profiles as like a workhorse back. I don't think Garendo really does.
We've seen this before with the Niners late round running backs getting big roles with the Shanahan offense. Jake, continue your thought though on James real quick.
What'd you say?
I don't know if you had more. I cut you off.
Oh no, I was reading some stuff that he profiles more of like a workhorse back than Garendo does, and Garendo's I think he had that shoulder injury last year, right? And it lingering again is not the best, but I don't know.
Terp, Terp, where are you at on the Niners backups?
I just draft Christian McCaffrey, man. That's just really down to
Christian.
I mean, if I didn't want to do fireworks tonight, I would have took Christian McCaffrey 5. There was 3 guys that I was considering. It was Gibbs, it was McCaffrey, it was Achane. I took Achane for the fireworks just to show a little bit, but I like McCaffrey and Achane just a ton this year. It's really, really hard not to want to click Christian McCaffrey every chance I get. I know the risk, but I love risk. I love taking a chance. Last year I had none of them, and it worked out. But it's really, really, really difficult not to click Christian McCaffrey every chance I get and just literally just continue to do it no matter where I'm drafted, because everybody loves Chase. Everybody loves Robinson. I do. Barkley, Gibbs, Lamb, Jefferson, all those guys. But the McCaffrey schedule, if he stays healthy, he's going to be running back 1. And it's not a question to me. It's a guarantee.
Terp, is your Panther that you're focusing on, is he going to be, if he falls there, they're picking this?
There's 2 of them. Okay. I'll read you my board right now because I don't really care. It's the 15th round right now. So I have 7 guys on my queue right now. Yeah. Rico is still there. I probably won't take him because I really don't need him. Will Shipley makes a ton of sense with the upside if something happens to Barkley. Xavier Legette, Jatavian Sanders are 2 guys.
Those were the 2 I thought you were targeting.
Mitchell from the Colts is the guy that I'm targeting. Jaden,
AD Mitchell's having a great camp again, but he also did this last year where he had a great camp.
I'm just looking at guys that have a little bit of upside, but also some Dante Thornton's another name that will be on the list. But I have a ton of Dante Thornton.
He's going to be. Our next stream is going to be post preseason official week 1, and there's going to be
that was a pain in the butt because Jaden Sanders is who I really wanted. I love him this year. I always for some reason miss him. So let's just take Xavier Legette.
XL. I like that.
It's fine. It's
a tad XL and Bryce Young. There's going to be some weeks where Dave Canales schemes up.
I'm just looking at this point, just adding as much depth. And the mistake I've made, look at my 14th to 15th round pick. There are 2 guys that are getting hyped up in preseason, but we've seen it all the time. They could be zeros all year. There's a range of possibilities where there's zeros all year. So I'm trying to be a little more safer with my last couple picks because obviously we've seen it over the years. There's a ton of guys who get hyped up in the preseason. We always mention Terrace Marshall, Marquise Callaway, guys like that get hyped up draft boards. And by the time we draft in September, you're going to see guys that are getting drafted down this range that are going to get moved up because the hype's with them. But that usually doesn't work out. So let's just try to be – Xavier Legette is going to be a guy that's going to play a ton. I think Adam Thielen's going to get traded, as we get closer to the regular season to a team that might have an injury or something like that. So I am buying into, the Panthers this year. I think the Panthers could sneakily win that division. I'm a big Dave Canales guy. So if Bryce Young continues to take that next step, I like buying into that team.
Great first name.
Steve G, put it in the chat. Put your highest known guy out there. I want to see what
I think he said your top. I think he
my
said
my highest known player still out there.
I think it was Ridley, J-Mo, and Pickens are also in his top 5 or top 10 most guys.
Steve, will you be in Vegas? If you're in Vegas, we got to have a conversation and make sure we're not drafting together because Theo Johnson's my highest known tight end besides Tucker Kraft and Evan Ingram. So let's just have a conversation and not draft against each other, please. Thanks.
Jake, I want to rope you in, though, to the conversation topic that me and Terpoilli love. Is there any name that comes to mind of a guy who like just steamed up boards because of like preseason hype and performances and training camp hype, and then like face planted, that you just recall like, oh yeah, I bought in and I was such an idiot for buying in? Is there any name that comes to mind for you?
2019 Justice Hill. He was going like the 9th and 10th round in Vegas, and then I started taking him, and he was just awful.
Everyone has one, man. I'm trying to Terp. Is it Terrace? I think Terrace is like your number one example of that.
Terrace and Marquise Callaway, I caught up in that hype. I'll be the first. They were on. I had them on one main event team, both of them, and the main event team was really, really good. But those two just killed me. And Marquise Callaway was probably the one that really like stings because there was nobody else there. This was Michael Thomas was injured. Like it was Marquise Callaway versus the world, and he was atrocious. Everywhere.
How about the 2023 Darren Waller? That one was pretty
That's
bad.
Another
too.
good one, yeah.
Terp was all over that. I'm trying to think. For me, the Amir Abdullah hype, I think in 2015.
What about Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Yeah, rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Moment of silence. I still remember. There's nothing. There's
he
certain
had
things
that
in
game
fantasy
against
football.
the Texans. Like I thought I was.
Certain things. I'm on the clock. Shit.
Can we talk about a repeat offender and Kyle Pitts, who just for 3 years in a row kept getting drafted?
But Pitts at least had like a year one. Like it wasn't just preseason or reporters hyping him up. Like Kyle Pitts.
Zamir White was another good one. Steve just put in the chat. I was on Zamir White early last year, but got off it. Thankfully, before like the big drafts, because he was Pitts just bad.
Oh, man, there's Amir Abdullah. This is another one, like I think it was 2019 rookie year, David Montgomery. Again, David Montgomery's ended up having a great career, but his rookie year, he got steamed up into like the 3-4 turn, and I was all over that because of the preseason. He, didn't really do anything. As
Mike Davis, remember that one?
I have two really good ones. Davis. Who was that quarterback who turned receiver that played for the Redskins when they were the Redskins?
Terrell Pryor. But that's a little different because Terrell Pryor was coming off, though, in a 1,000-yard season at least with the Browns. Like, it wasn't completely like – but, yeah, Terrell Pryor's a name, dude, because he got paid and just went – it was – Terrell Pryor is one of the weirdest NFL careers because he had the one-hit wonder with the Raiders at quarterback and then a one-hit wonder with the Browns at receiver. Terp, I have to go back. Will Shipley in the 17th round. I
thought about it.
You went De'Ami Brown. Just it goes back to your Liam Cohen love.
It's just Liam Cohen love. I think he's going to play a ton. I think he's going to play a ton.
Philip Lindsay.
If this is the main event or a gorilla, I'm taking Will Shipley because my mentality in these later rounds just kill running back until I can't draft anymore. Draft them all because I feel like in best ball it's different because like Brown, Pierce, Austin, Thornton, they can hit your lineup. You're never clicking Brown in a main event. You're never clicking Brown in a gorilla. In best ball, it's different. In main event, I'm trying to stack as many running backs as possible and maybe take one of these two upside receivers because, like to me, Calvin Austin in the main event's a wasted pick. Like when is Calvin Austin clicking? When are you clicking that button? You're never going to do it. So it's okay.
Elijah Moore.
Yep,
so it's there.
Oh man, that's a sad name because that's my guy, and I'm drafting him a ton this year, especially with the Shakir injury. I mean,
huge. But he was more like he didn't meet the high expectations after a good year, less so just a rando who rose up boards. There's so many good ones.
I mean, Garrett Wilson. I know Aaron Rodgers got hurt, but like Garrett Wilson that year, was 2 years ago, he was like hype. Like.
Yeah,
there's not many guys like getting that
three in main events, like legitimately. Yeah. Jake, what were you gonna say?
This might be a steaming hot opinion. Is there any chance that Davante Adams does a 2022 Allen Robinson to us, or no?
I don't think so. I think it's a different player. I mean, but if Stafford's not 100%,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm more worried about the Stafford thing than most people are.
Dude,
do I think it's a little bit of gameplay?
That was my first year working for the FFPC. I did a couple of streams. I was all over Elijah Moore that year. I was all over Allen Robinson. It was about as embarrassing of an entry into this again, I'm not an analyst by any means. I'm a freaking director of marketing, but still, like, to put myself on stream that first year and give those takes, we've improved since then. But yeah,
we had fun, man. We had fun.
Everyone was so happy to watch Allen Robinson play for the Rams week 1. It was Thursday night, and he put up a 1 catch for 12 yards.
Oh, so painful. Some of them Thursday night games, like I think it's the most fun part of Vegas. The Thursday night games are fun. They're high scoring. They bring different, like, there's no worse feeling than drafting after the Thursday game and like having like a Bears Packers that one year that was like 13-10 or whatever the heck it was. Like nothing moves.
Who's the best Thursday night play?
Yeah, let's have some fun here and take.
I want to hear that, Dave. Who was the for Terp? Obviously, you've been around longer than me and Jake. In your guys' time, and Dave Gerzak as well. And anyone who's been going to Vegas, who is what's the best Thursday night performance you've ever seen? Peyton, 7 touchdowns.
It was definitely Manning. It was definitely the.
I mean, Saquon has a shout last year.
He does. I mean,
I have a guy in mind.
There's one tight end on the Raiders. I can't remember his name. It was a long time ago, but he had like a monster Thursday night game. Dave probably knows this one, and he got hyped up draft boards, and I don't think he caught a pass the rest of the year. But he was
for this one.
What was his name?
I'm intrigued to see who Dave Gerzak says. Manning and also Amari Toomer at receiver.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I think Manning's the obvious one. Jake, who's the name you had in mind?
2017 Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, huge.
Kareem Hunt's a great name because I remember was I not in Vegas? I might have been in Vegas. I might not have been. But I remember talking crap to a name that I'm not going to say because he talks a lot of crap on me and this show. But he said a lot of choice words that night about how Kareem Hunt was before. Oh, he's a number 1 overall fantasy. He's the greatest thing since Adrian Peterson. And remember when he fumbled and then he had a great game.
First carry.
He was a number 1 overall pick in every draft.
I mean, Kareem Hunt had a great year that year. He was wrong about the career, but Kareem Hunt had an excellent first couple of seasons.
He was talking about him as like the next Gale Sayers.
Okay.
He fumbled his first carry, then proceeded to put up 47.6 fantasy.
Yeah. So that was 2017. I drafted Kareem Hunt. I was all over that. And I mean, I was in high school at the time. I remember vividly having to go to I was an ambassador at my school, so I was giving tours of the school and was following the game there, saw he fumbled. I remember splitting migraine, testing the next day, was probably stressed. I went to bed. All I had known was the fumble. Like I went to bed so early. Like it was just, I was a mess. And I wake up the next day and he had like 40-something points. It was great.
And the only reason he was starting was because Spencer Ware, right? Like
Spencer Ware, yeah. Chiefs just had some names. You guys remember Charkandrick West?
Oh yeah, Carson Steele, that bum from last year.
Who? There was a guy who should have been Super Bowl MVP when they beat the Niners, Damian Williams, and then he sat out because of COVID and didn't do anything ever again. Terp, so you did. Back to the draft at hand, you did take Jordan James. Love that.
I did.
Jake and
Brand with the 3 Goombas. I mean, you said Jordan James. I'm going to take him for you.
Charkandrick West was on the High Stakes Fantasy Football Hour.
That's scary.
It's pretty cool.
Kevin Ogletree. Love that.
I want to know who that. I can never remember who that tight end is on the Raiders. They played the Patriots. I just can never. He got moved up. He stormed up draft boards, and he was terrible.
Dude, Toomer had 210 for 204 and 3. Jeez.
I'm telling you, Thursday night games are so fun in Vegas because, like, if they go well and things go like crazy, and like you get Likely's and the Jaden Reeds type of situations, you see like them wild draft boards. And if you're drafting, like this year, I'm drafting Friday morning before I leave, and I'm very excited with what that came. Because think about it, you have Hurts. I'm on the clock. Crap. I'm going to buy.
I do want to ask Dave, and again, anyone in the chat who's been there for years. I'm intrigued. Obviously, the Manning comes to mind. Dave mentioned Amari Toomer, Terp for you as well, and obviously, and Jake too. You've been going for a while. But last year had to be something special though, with both now having 2 games, 2 free looks, and both of them being just absolute offensive shootouts. I mean, that in and of itself, it's probably going to be hard to replicate. but that makes it certainly special. Talk me through Torrey Horton. I know we're in the 19th round and there's not much, but obviously kind of going in line with your shooting for upside.
Preseason height, a lot of positive things coming out of Seattle. I mean, I can't say I pay attention to a ton of, his college tape or any of that, but I'm not drafting Cooper Kupp. If things work out and the hype is real, I think he's gonna have a place no matter what. He should beat out MVS, and not a guy you really got to worry about there. If the Seattle passes a little bit more, he is my 8th receiver, I think it is. So it's a risk I can take. And if it works out, he could be a Puka Nacua type of situation. He's a guy that the press is starting to come positive on him. And obviously JSN is the guy that's going to get all the love there. But there's really, if you're not a Cooper Kupp guy, there's really no guy there that tight end position. Arroyo is a rookie. I like him. I draft him a ton, but still there's questions there. So it's worth a flyer. Jalen Coker might have made more sense. McLeod, if they would have made it to me. But right now, we're shooting for upside. So
fair. I mean, and just off the bat, maybe our first preseason game riser. I mean, Keandre Lambert-Smith breaks into draft. A really good Hall of Fame game. But obviously, signing Keenan Allen only pushes him further down the depth chart. Intriguing. I would have been. Where are you guys at? So real quick, Jake, I'm going to go to you. I said this earlier. Obviously, Ladd's ADP stays steady. The rest of the Chargers in this draft go Trey Harris, wide receiver 56, Keenan Allen, wide receiver 65, and then Quentin Johnson, wide receiver 73, and then Keandre Lambert-Smith, wide receiver 85. At those ADPs, you have to put, your money on one of them. You have to take one of them. Which value do you like the most out of those Chargers wide receiver, possibly twos?
I will probably just stick with Ladd, but
that's not an option, Jake. That's not an option. You have to choose one of these stinky second options.
Oh, one of the. I honestly in best ball probably Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, 17th round Quentin Johnson's.
Yeah.
It's still Keenan Allen for me.
Is no one worried about Ladd? Like if Keenan comes over, well, is he going to go right to the slot? Because Ladd did all of his work out of the slot. And now if he moves to the perimeter, is no one worried about that at all?
I love Jake just shouting into an echo chamber. No one freaking worried about. I'm more worried about Ladd's injury history. I've said that. Ladd doesn't stay. He didn't really stay. He stayed relatively healthy last year, but he's not built to
Did you change your name to DeAndre Swift? I just saw that.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Wait, I didn't even see
That's so good.
I have to back him now.
So good.
I'm worried about Ladd not because of Keenan Allen. I'm worried about Ladd because of injury history and then also, just sometimes the play style.
So you're not worried if Keenan Allen goes right to the slot and Ladd has to move to the perimeter outside? That doesn't at all?
I tend to not concern myself with fat Keenan Allen months off on the couch, just strolling back in. I mean, again, not to knock Keenan Allen too much. I'm shitting on way too much. He had his moments last year, but I mean, Ladd McConkey was electric. I don't see Jim Harbaugh, unlike some coaches and coordinators out there, is not stupid. He doesn't run a stupid ship. So I don't understand why they would pivot away from Ladd for, an aging Keenan Allen. It just doesn't really, it's not something that concerns me there, and it's not like you're taking Ladd, if we go back up that tier. So Jake, I'm going to scroll up. What guys are you taking in the receiver room over Ladd, who went as wide receiver 11?
T. Higgins, for sure. JSN, Tyreek Hill, and Garrett Wilson. And then I would take that.
So Ladd's your wide receiver. So you're basically saying, in your opinion, Ladd should be going more of the end of the third. I think you are drafting Ladd at his absolute ceiling where he's going. I don't think there's a world where he does better than St. Brown, Drake London, Puka. I think you are drafting him at his ceiling. But I think that there's upside for Garrett Wilson to do better than St. Brown, someone like AJ Brown, because of his chemistry with Fields, and he's literally the only receiver on that team. But I don't know. We'll see.
Jake, can I answer that question?
You got a fuck no in the chat.
Can I get an answer to that question?
Yeah, please.
The only person I'm taking over Ladd is Tyreek Hill. and that's just the upside of Tyreek Hill is immense. T. Higgins, I get. I mean, obviously with Burrow, we saw the upside at the end of the season, but as long as Jamar Chase there, it's going to limit T. Higgins, in my opinion. Who are the other guys? Garrett Wilson. I don't trust him. I love Garrett Wilson, and I'll draft him a ton just because he might get 6,000 targets, but he might get 6,000 targets at his knees because I just don't trust, Justin Fields.
I mean, is Fields the best quarterback that Wilson's had? I mean,
he's not better than
Zach Wilson.
In terms of throwing the football, no.
My final pick. Now, let's go through my final pick because it's going to be fun. Because let's just have some fun here. If you guys were picking my final pick, who would you take? To me, it's only a running back or tight end, so you don't get another option.
I'm not looking at
running back or tight end.
Running back or tight end. So running backs, we got Hunt, Corum, Mitchell, Moss, no, Johnson, Ty Johnson. We're not taking him. Trevor Etienne, McLaughlin, Isaiah Davis, Estime, Herbert.
Corum is the name I'm most intrigued by so far. Because
tight end, we got Terp's boy, Tyler Conklin, Michael Mayer, Ben Sinnott.
AJ Barner.
No,
Ben Sinnott.
Stop it.
Ben Sinnott or Corum.
Stop it. You know I'm taking. I'm on brand, bro. Tyler Conklin, no matter what.
Sick, dude. Sick.
He's safe. And I keep talking about how I've drafted a ton of Oronde Gadsden. I get it. I get it. I get the hype. But I also can get that Oronde Gadsden give me a 0. There's weeks with Tyler Conklin can hit my lineup. So I have to look at it my perspective is always I have a lot of dart throws, whether it's Horton, whether it's Smith, whether it's JCM, guys like that. I have to be a little bit more safe with my picks. That's why I took Brown.
A safe 20th rounder, Joe King says. Terp, you're hurting your brand right now.
My brand is Tyler Conklin. We've always said Tyler Conklin's always been a Dave Turk guy. Safe, not sexy, but he gets the job done. And in the 20th round, he's a starting tight end.
Can I just say the second to last, the penultimate pick of the draft, Christian Watson?
No, this guy.
Come on,
I want to know this team one guy in.
Let's go.
He is definitely. This guy, he gets it. When you draft Christian Watson, you have a place in my heart. Especially, it's the first time I've seen him, and
I think
he did. He definitely did that for me. I don't know who he is. I didn't look at his name, but this guy did it for me. Christian Watson will always hold a special place in Dave Turp's heart.
I think Isaac Tesla hits the 15th round come September.
No, he's not.
I think he's the preseason riser.
Stop it.
No, I won't.
How's he getting?
I'm not saying it's valid. I'm saying
Jalen Royals is a guy. If you want to talk about a guy who's going to hit 15th round, it's Jalen Royals.
I'm saying Isaac Tesla is putting on a great preseason. He's going to get a ton of touches in their games. He's going to rise up, guaranteed.
It's possible, but there's a lot of guys who could rise up 5 rounds in these last 2 rounds. Whoever you just mentioned, whatever. I'm going to try to say his last name.
Tesla.
Making it there.
It's literally Tesla.
He's not making it there. I'm just letting you know. You can say his name however you want. Christian Watson got a better chance of getting in 5 rounds over than Isaac Tesla.
Okay. That's going to do it for us, folks. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Great chat room as always. Jake, I always do Terp has to grade his team, but it's late. So I'm not going to do that.
Let me hear it.
No, I'm going to do Jake grade your appearance.
Yeah.
I definitely have to stand by my DeAndre Swift take and my lad take, but I will take those ones to the grave with me. And if I'm wrong,
I think Jake gets an A- because we don't give A's out.
I think Jake gets an A+. He's been perfect. It's like he's been doing it the whole time with us. He can come on every week.
I like how he's kind of contrasting with us. We're getting some new takes in there. That's what we needed. The 3 Goombas are here and they're here to stay, and they'll be back August 27th to cover a 5K big payback. Next week, 7 p.m., Andrew Cooper will be joining me and Terp to cover an FFPC Big Gorilla, and then a 10 p.m. late night main event draft with Howard Bender. Terp, but before we go, I'm going to slide back up to the top. I was going to pull us out, but you're going to have to give your team a grade. Where are we at on this team? You liked it? Does it hit the A range?
I would probably personally, because I'm biased against myself, I'd probably give it a B+, because A-, B+. I think it's a really good drafted team, all things considered. There's guys that I don't normally take a ton. The Achane pick, people are going to say is crazy. I'm sure it's going to be posted, and people are like, why'd that idiot take Achane 5? Whatever. It's what it is. But other than that, I think the draft filled out perfectly, and all things considered. Adams falling where he did, it was not something I expected. McMillan, Odunze, the receiver room has a little bit of questions, but I think overall, I'm very, very happy with the team.
There we go. That's all we got. That's going to do it for myself, Aidan Liquorie, Dave Terpoilli, and Jake Venuti. As I said, 3 Goombas will be back August 27th.
Before we get out of here, real quick.
Yeah.
So next week on the show, whether it's you, whether it's Jake, we're going to do another one of these. We're going to sell it out in 24 hours, whether it's a random day of the week, no matter what it is. This was fun. Right. We should definitely do it again, and we'll get this taken care of.
All right. We will. So 2 more 3 Goombas appearances.
Oh yeah. We're definitely doing another 3 Goombas.
Make it 3. Let's just do it every Tuesday.
That's what I'm saying. We can do whatever. Dave would love that. Alex would love that. These drafts out in 24 hours. They probably do backflips every time they see these schedules.
Tuesday with Terpoilli.
Tuesdays versus Terp. Might have to rock that. There we go. That's going to do it for us. So we'll be back next Wednesday for sure. Big Gorilla, Andrew Cooper. And then at some point, there will be a Tuesdays versus Terp best ball. And then main event, big payback. We got it lined up, locked in, ready to go. Thank you to all. Happy drafting, and we will see you guys next week.
See you guys.